Mama, we made it! The guns blazing. What it do, though?
Get it.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen and ladies, little kitties, grandmamas, mamas, uncles, aunties.
Grandma, I see you.
What's up, Granny? I love you.
I love you.
Yo, we have an incredibly special guest today. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy because I'm so like happy to have him on because, you know, this is one of those moments where you have somebody in your life that, you know, for the past, 2 to 3 years, you guys have been really vibey and cool with and, you know, mutual respect type shit. But we didn't know each other's stories. We knew each other were really cool cats. And we always, you know, dapped up and said what's up and, you know what I'm saying, told each other to meet each other at a certain spot. But we got together, spoke about, you know, our journeys a week or two ago. And this gentleman right here started out in the consulting game on the business side. And then life and opportunity took him towards the media and entertainment side. And I can't wait to get this story from you, my brother Vincent Martinez. Welcome to the Mama We Made It podcast, brother.
Hey, you didn't tell him that we got the same taste of girls too. You know what I'm saying? That's how we really met. You know
yeah. So how did you guys really meet?
Listen. You dig me? How did we meet, bro? Talk to me.
Man,
talk to me.
I met you the first year I got here through AJ. You know,
shout out to AJ Roland.
Shout out to AJ. #lunchbag. You know,
yes.
Parlor. You know, but we met through him, and from then on, you know, we had kindred spirits.
Yes,
and vibed with the same energy.
Yeah,
and you know, now we're here.
It's crazy. Like let's just make a real note of that because it's crazy because AJ is such a
Oh, he's a connector.
A force.
He's a connector.
He's you know what's wild? He's such a big brother to me, bro. But like him and I just connected on such a deep level. But AJ truly has the keys to the city.
No, he does. I mean, with Parlor, shout out to the Parlor on Melrose. You know, if you've never been there for a game, please do check it out.
Yeah.
But he knows everybody in LA, all walks of life. And he's really good people.
Yeah.
You know. So I got to join you on the lunch bag.
You got to.
Yes.
Man.
We definitely got to do it.
I've just seen your pics. I think it's such a good cause.
Straight up.
Cool. He has a new video coming out too. You got to check it out. Yeah, it's awesome.
You know what's funny about that video? He tried to show me that 7 different times.
Oh,
he either had no battery or some shit. That he finally.
Hold on, we saw it at the same time, right? We saw it at the same time. That's crazy.
So Vince, you know what I'm saying? Before I don't even want to get to where you are now. I really want to, talk about your story and allow for people, because I feel like your story is such a fucking beautiful journey into the world that we're in now, and you play such a critical role in this world. But you went at that path. Your pathway was so different than the mindset of somebody looking to get in this game's perspective would be. Yeah. Like it tripped me out. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to get there hearing your journey. But let's talk about you. Like, where'd you grow up? Like, talk to me. Let's talk about your upbringing and where life has taken you since, you were a youth.
No, absolutely. So I grew up in Houston, Texas. So that's what I claim home. From there, it's crazy because the reason I went to Atlanta, but the reason how I got to Atlanta initially, and I never told you this, was because of my girlfriend at that time.
Really? It's always a chickie,
Get up on the mic. Get up on the mic,
like,
baby.
Hold on. Big moves are always with a chickie
around
involved,
a girl.
Bro.
So at that time,
how old were you here?
I was 18 at this time.
Okay.
She was a year below me. She was a junior. I was a senior.
Word.
I knew she was going to Spelman. Wow. Because her mom went to Spelman, her grandmother went to Spelman, her great-grandmother went to Spelman. So
the lineage.
I applied to Texas. I applied to Miami, University of Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I applied to Maryland. And And
get that mic, baby. Get that. Everyone's got to get the mic.
Talk, you know
mic talk. And you know, I applied to Clark Atlanta University just as a sign of good faith. Yeah. At that time, I honestly didn't think I was gonna get in. Oh, you know, it was just like, hey, I'm putting my best foot forward.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Like, yo, I'm showing you. I'm showing you. I'm trying. You know. Yeah. So, you know, I got accepted to every school. Everybody offered me a partial scholarship, but Clark Atlanta gave me a full ride.
Wow, yeah, man. You know, your 1 foot in became like a shimmy.
A shimmy. Like it was like I was shimmying in there. Word. So, you know, obviously I went to where the money was at.
Word.
Yeah.
And then
and you did you like really want to go there, or it was just like it's just too good of an opportunity?
Out of my top 5 choices, that was my last one.
Wow.
See, so like, do you have just any type of regret looking back on that? Just like, it's a full ride, like the finance. You can't, like, student debt.
You know
is
what?
So fucked
you know
up.
what? I'll be honest with you. My first semester, I broke up with my girl, who I went to Clark Atlanta for.
Word.
That always happens, man.
It always happens,
it
right?
Always happens.
That's fucking happened to me too.
So I regretted it at that time. You know. But second semester, I got it in, man. I got it in, and you know, I experienced what Atlanta had to offer. Let me just say that. And so,
and hold on, what did Atlanta have to offer at that time, bro? Talk to me, bro.
All right, so
talk to me.
I'll talk to you. At that time, shout out to Alex Giddewan. He opened a Vision for the first time. Mm-hmm. And All-Star Weekend in Atlanta was 2003.
Word.
So he opened up with Visions with Puff Daddy.
Wow.
And me.
And Visions was what?
Visions was the most popping club at that time.
Really?
If anybody in Atlanta was around 2003, yeah, everybody knows what Visions was.
And how'd y'all meet?
So, me and my business partner now, Dallas Martin, who's a senior vice president over at Atlantic. Shout out to Dallas.
What up, Dallas?
We lived on the same floor.
Okay.
Brawley Hall. Shit. So it's funny because how we met was I don't know if you guys remember the Motorola Timeport 2-way pagers. Mm-hmm. Me and him were the only ones that had the silver joints, not the baby joints, the big boy joints. Word. And so we exchanged contacts.
The ones you had
through
the
that.
hip holster for.
Oh yeah, I had the hip holster with the StarTAC. Oh yeah, the
Timeport
silver one. Yeah,
StarTAC,
yeah,
baby.
The StarTAC, you know.
StarTAC, baby.
And so, you know, me and him had the only ones as a freshman, and we exchanged contacts, and from then on we became best friends, man.
Word. Wow.
And so we were 19 at that time. Hope Alex don't kill me for this. But we were 19 at that time, snuck into Visions, got it in. And from then on, you know, it was history.
Word.
You know? So
Atlanta being like
that's so tight.
Being your 5th choice, your last choice.
Yeah.
First of all, what was your first?
My first was Texas. I wanted to stay home.
UT?
You know, UT.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a Longhorn.
Yeah.
Word.
You know, so
UT is an incredible campus, bro.
Incredible campus. Yeah. You know, it was close to home. Yeah. It was only 2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
I wanted to stay within state. It was lower tuition in state. Yeah. You know, those factors came into play. You know, I didn't come from a rich family.
Yep.
You know, so I was always taught to hit your books, try to get a scholarship if you can, get a good education and get a job.
Word.
You know, that's what I was taught.
Word.
You know, so that was my first choice. My second choice was obviously University of Miami.
Yes.
I wanted to be a Hurricane.
Yeah.
That tuition will hit a motherfucker.
The out-of-state tuition was crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Even for the residents there, that's private. Isn't that private school tuition?
Yeah, private school tuition. And it was nuts. Yeah. You know, I believe at that time it was like 26,000 at that point.
Yep.
So that was my second choice. But yeah, I mean, full ride at Clark. I really couldn't turn that. My dad wouldn't let me turn that down.
I feel you.
You know.
Now looking back on that, were you like after you did 4 years there?
I did 4 years. Yeah.
So after the 4th year, like looking back, that's your whole college experience. Was that like super
I
satisfying?
would
at the
have
end of it?
never. I actually am glad to my ex who is now married.
Wow. Congratulations,
Yo,
sweetheart.
Congratulations,
We love you.
Aaron.
Mazel tov.
But no, I'm so glad about the decision because I would have never met the people that I met to this day if I would have never made it to Atlanta.
Isn't that
And
crazy how life works?
that was the only
sometimes-
college. That was the only college I applied to.
You
in
know what's
Atlanta.
crazy? Like that decision ruins lives and creates lives.
Well, it just proves when you're young, you just don't know what the fuck you're talking
doing.
about. Like, oh, that's gonna be my 5th choice because it's Clark. Like, really? And then like, what is that like even decision based on? It's like you live in this fantasy of like, that's everything. It's just like this fantasy.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I want to go to UT. I want to be a Hurricane. I want like. For what?
For what?
For what the
For
fuck
what
you see on
reason?
TV?
Yeah.
For what like? But no. And then like you go to a place that you don't even want to go to, and you're like, this is the best choice and the best time of my life.
But like we were speaking about earlier, bro, like it's hindsight is always 2020.
Hindsight is always
right?
2020.
Like
man.
it always ends up making sense. And like it's crazy, like let's think back to that like Steve Jobs college commencement speech. You know what I'm saying? Like connecting the dots.
Absolutely. Steve Jobs is a role model, by the
But
way.
like, role model,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
But like the dots of life are presented to you and you look back, you can see the connections.
Absolutely.
But like to have that mentality of trying to connect them early on, you're just like forcing yourself and willing yourself into like an abyss of God knows what.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think, you know what? And what I've learned from just that specific decision, and that's just one decision, by the way,
Word.
one choice, was, just take a step.
Yes.
You know, take one step.
Yeah.
That's deep, bro.
You know, you take one
The
step.
simplicity of that.
Yeah. And it's really that easy.
Yeah.
You know, just take one step.
Student debt fucking sucks.
Yeah. And that's
Like,
what I was worried about.
If you have the ability to have a scholarship, go. Like at the end of the day,
Full ride,
what
man.
college? What college is about? Like it's about the people. Number
Yes.
one.
But a full ride is
Like-
something just juicy.
And I'll be real. I mean, I didn't have the best GPA. I had a 3.2. It was okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Alright.
it was okay, but I
You
guess
got
it's,
some A's. You also got like a C in there. Though.
yeah,
It's
you know,
like-
but
you hit that C in like physics.
I don't know. I don't know if it's because I was Pacific Islander on the application that I made it through, you know,
Hit
but I made it, you know. Mama, we made it. Shout out.
Mama, we made it. You
Mama.
feel me?
Yeah.
Hey.
But yeah, like that's something. Yeah, if you ever have the chance to get a full ride, man, it's amazing.
Assess that.
Yeah,
Definitely
absolutely.
assess that, and don't weigh so much on like fantasy expectations.
Yeah.
You know, go get your full ride, make amazing friends. You're gonna click with people.
It's gonna be
there.
an experience where you go.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
where it's just what you make out of it.
Yes.
exactly
True story.
exactly.
True story. So you got to Atlanta. You were at Clark. What did you study over there?
So initially, I was a marketing major.
Okay.
So business is on your mind right now.
Business is on my mind. By the way, so I was supposed to be a doctor.
Really?
Yeah. So my dad, you know, my dad's dad, my grandfather, my great grandfather, they came from a lineage of medicine.
Yeah.
So I went to a medical high school. Realized freshman year early on that I did not want to be a doctor.
What was that
So
moment?
freshman year of high school.
Freshman year of high school.
And you were in a what's a medical high school?
So-
what is that? Is that a magnet or is it like
It's a
is it
magnet. It's a
medical?
magnet school. I had to apply to get in. Got the grades to get in.
Word.
But how I realized it was I was fortunate enough to be in rotations in hospitals. So we had
Rotations as a freshman in
as a
fucking high school.
freshman, as a freshman.
I will tell you, if I see you in my hospital room as a 14-year-old kid, I'm literally
I'm outta here,
kicking-
right?
I'm getting up. I'm getting up. I'm putting a shoe on, and I'm kicking you the fuck
I'm out of here. I don't care what I got. You know.
Yeah.
So we were in rotations, and one of the exercises in the rotation was we had to draw each other's blood. And I remember somebody drawing my blood, and I remember drawing somebody else's blood, and from then on forward, I knew I did not want to be a doctor.
So
That's
and
wild.
You're 14, 15, and you're sticking a needle.
Needle,
in some-
a real needle.
You're finding
and
a
a real
vein.
syringe, finding a vein, and really seriously taking blood out somebody else's arm.
oh my god.
They build them tough into. Is that
it's-
like? is that just Texas or is that like fucking everywhere?
I would hope it's not everywhere because that was a real experience for me.
Wow.
You know,
and you're like, I can't do this for the rest
I can't do this.
This is not my life.
But you know what? I knew that in my heart, but I didn't tell my dad till junior year. I didn't have the heart to tell him.
So you stayed in the medical.
I stayed
high school.
in it. I stayed in the medical high school.
That's crazy.
Just to really, satisfy what my dad wanted, what he wanted
Respect
for me.
to that, though.
Respectfully, my dad was a hard worker. I respect him a lot. He was my mom and dad. I was raised in a single parent household.
Wow.
So I wanted to make sure that he was happy.
Yeah.
But junior year, I couldn't take that shit no more, man. And I had to have that real talk with him and let him know that as I was applying to colleges the next year, I wasn't applying for medicine, any medical schools.
How was that conversation for you?
It was tough. It was tough because my dad is my rock.
Yeah.
My dad is the only person that I looked up to as a role model growing up.
Yeah.
I didn't have a mom. I didn't have anybody else to look up to. But, I wanted to make sure that, he knew that I was going to be okay regardless of my decision.
Yeah.
You know? Whether or not I decided to follow in his footsteps or not, I was going to be okay. But that was a hard time for me.
Especially being that young. And
that young. I
mean,
you already know, I don't know how y'all with y'all parents, but I didn't have real adult conversations with my parents till I got to college.
Really?
Real adult conversations. I'm not talking about hey, Dad,
absolutely.
can I go out?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not. Can I stay past curtain? No, I'm talking about real adult conversations.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And I didn't have that till college, so it was hard for me as a junior in high school to have that.
Word.
But
That shit must have been terrifying for you.
no, it was scary, but at the same time, it was required. It was necessary at
You
that
had a
time.
conviction at that
And
point.
he was okay.
He wasn't okay.
Oh, he wasn't okay.
He wasn't okay, but he supported my decision.
Okay, but he wasn't okay.
Yeah.
That's
But see, that's the crazy
Yeah,
shit.
that's
Especially the parent that lived that life, right? He wasn't okay, but he was supportive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's a distinction that adults get to.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that was a big stepping stone for our relationship.
Word.
Hey, I don't agree with your decision.
Yeah.
But I respect it.
Word.
And from then
it's
on,
your life type of thing.
But from then on, it was a more adult conversation then on forward.
Yeah.
So, it was tough.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's bold, man. I mean, yeah. For you to recognize that and actually say something like,
But you know what? My bad to cut you off.
No.
But it took him to force me to go to a medical high school.
Yeah.
For me to realize
Yes.
that what I didn't want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
and
talked
so,
about the importance of that. I mean,
importance of not knowing what you want,
Yeah.
as opposed to what you actually do want.
did you have a moment thinking you actually did want to be a doctor?
I did,
Because you
before I went to the before I drew somebody's blood, I wanted to be a doctor.
Yeah, you're like my lineage is here.
Yeah,
I've seen you could be successful. You can make some money.
Money,
You can help.
it's good
people.
money.
You help people.
It's
You work
prestigious.
everything.
I can call myself Dr. Martinez.
Yeah, and it's there's a sense of security, authority,
Absolutely.
Yes.
and you're a doctor, so you're helping people.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot that comes with being a doctor. So
Yeah.
even knowing oh my God, this is not for me. That's actually kind of fucked up for you to be oh shit, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Imagine you're yo, I'm gonna be a
'cause up to
doctor.
that
Wait a
point-
minute, I'm not. Oh fuck, then what am I gonna be?
But bro, look at the wild significance of this, because essentially you had an internship as your freshman year in high school. Low-key.
Absolutely.
That's
That's how I saw it. That's how I saw it.
Yeah.
Because cats wait till college
Yep.
till they're searching.
Had
to
I
get these
had I waited
internships.
till college, I would have wasted 4 years of my life to
finding and figuring it out.
figure out, hey, this is not what I want.
But bro, in college, I don't see these kids drawing blood. That's the craziest shit. You got the real you were doing rotations as a fucking freshman.
I drew blood, bro. I drew blood, and it was an eye-opening experience that, that's not what I wanted.
So you know what you don't want. Did you know what you want? At that point, did you know okay?
You know what? At that time, we were actually throwing parties in high school, small parties. We make a couple hundred here and there.
He's like, I want to do this. He's like,
Yeah.
fuck me to die. Let's
You know,
throw parties, baby.
but a couple hundred as a high school student was a lot.
Yeah, you a millionaire.
Yeah, you're like,
Low
oh,
key.
what? I'm balling.
Yeah.
You know, so I knew I wanted
It's
to
1998. You're like, yo, let's go, baby.
get it in, right? So,
1990. Yeah, it's still the 90s.
at that time, I knew I wanted to be involved in business in one way, shape, or form because
What time was
I
this?
like making money.
High school.
You know, this was high school.
Okay.
This was 2010, 2001. You know, I graduated high school 2002. So, you know, my sophomore, junior year, we were throwing parties. 2012, we were throwing parties. But I knew, you know, throwing parties was fun for me.
Okay.
It made me money
Yep.
on the side. It gave me prestige. You know, everybody knew me in the city. But I knew I wanted to be involved in business one way, shape, or form.
So you were throwing parties in high school.
Yeah.
You have a chickie that you put your pinky toe in.
I went all in. I went all in with her.
You put this motherfucker was telling her that, you know what I'm saying, baby, I got you. He had the
I took
nail,
that first step. She was
his,
a year under me.
the
you know?
nail of his pinky toe that one toe he deliberately didn't cut for 2 weeks so that it can reach where that was. You feel me? And by chance, that little touch turned into fucking the pot of gold. Shout out to the leprechaun, wherever the
Shout out to the leprechaun.
So you at Clark, freshman year, you're over here thugging with these motherfucking Motorola jump offs with the belt swoop to match. You know what I'm saying? You and Dallas are thugging like, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to where Dallas is now because he's living his dream. He's thugging at the fuck.
I
out.
love Dallas to death, man. Shout out to Dallas right now, man.
So you're a freshman. You started you said that you started in marketing. Did you switch?
No, I started in management.
In management.
Yeah. So, so just take a step back. Freshman year, even, you know, I took 15 credits in freshman year. Took 18 credits my second semester.
Word.
Then took 18 credits every semester after that.
Word.
So by my junior year, I was ready to graduate by the fall of my senior year.
Wow.
But my counselor told me, you know, I talked to her. I was like, "Yo, what else can I do?" He was like, "Well, do you want to do a concentration in something?"
Okay.
So I was like, "You know what? I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, I don't want to graduate in the fall. I want to graduate with the people I came in with.
Yes.
You know, I got a full ride anyway.
Yeah. What's the rush here?
What's the rush? I don't have a rush. So I dual concentrated in marketing and management at that point, my junior year.
Word.
Nice.
And from then on forward, I still took 18 credits every single semester.
Pushed it.
Yeah. You know. But you know, that was probably one of the turning points in my life was to take a marketing class.
How so?
I mean, it feeds into what I'm doing now. You know, I'm here dealing with brands.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with marketing budgets.
Okay.
I'm dealing with, you know, Fortune 500 companies that have marketing budgets, and I can talk that language.
Okay.
So
You know?
did you have like, when you took the marketing class, did you have a feeling towards it like, oh, this connects with me. This is like, this fits, the shoe fits.
It does. And I'm glad you brought that up because, you know, all throughout college, we you know, I continued my journey in throwing parties, you know. Okay. So I connected with Dallas. Dallas was, his cousin owned a promotional company called 7 Entertainment at that time. And, you know, me and Dallas joined forces with 7 Entertainment. We started throwing parties from my sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Word. So y'all had Atlanta popping.
Oh, man. Yeah, we were throwing 20 and up parties, and we weren't even 21.
I feel you.
Right.
And so we were throwing, you know, if you ask anybody in the AUC that went from AUC, meaning Morehouse, Spelman, and Clark.
Got it.
If you ask anybody out there that went from 2002 to 2006, they'll know who 7 Entertainment was.
Really?
You know,
It was like that.
it was like that. It
I
was
feel you.
popping. You know,
I just brushed my shoulder off.
for
Out
me,
of fucking
for me.
respect for this man to my left
know?
right now. You know what I'm
And
saying?
so, and from there, you know, it just made sense for me to tie with brands and marketing because of what I already was doing outside of classes, outside of Clark.
So let's get to this because so you were throwing parties. You were probably dealing with the upper echelon of folk, and also like the cats in y'all's age bracket and college bracket that were aspirational enough at that time to like be the beings that were, you know, destined to be somebody if they found it.
Yeah.
You graduated college. You didn't go directly into working with brands and on that side, did
not
you?
at all. Actually,
so where did life take you after? So you, because like it's crazy because you look now like a lot of like promoters and cats that are throwing parties in college, like they jump into an entertainment realm, like a la Scooter Braun out there, in that same area,
absolutely,
right? Throwing parties, all this, finds artists on YouTube, goes into the music realm. Cats throwing parties, this and that, go to a label. Or
but
go
let's
to
talk
this,
about the marketing of that, like how important marketing is. Especially like those tie-ins. Sorry to cut you off.
It's crazy because these elements lead like directly into entertainment where you are now.
No, absolutely.
Right? But your path was a little different.
No, absolutely. Because it's crazy because while I was throwing parties, I was still getting shit done. You know what I mean?
You were taking 18 units
18
a semester.
By the way, magna cum laude graduate right here.
Hey,
you know
respect. Hold on.
So,
studio audience.
You know,
Studio audience, which is a mirror.
The only reason why I take pride in that because I was involved in promotions. I was doing extracurricular activities outside of classes, and I still maintain a 3.7 GPA.
Word, respect.
You know, so
you always had a true, you know, eye and also a will to keep your grades up and education. Now, does that stem from your father?
Absolutely. And, you know, I come from an Asian family, you know, so, you know, my dad was a tiger dad, you know, made sure that, you know, I hit my books right. I couldn't play until I hit my books right.
Right.
And so,
but that like, cause I come from a similar family, right?
Yeah.
You know, my mother and father are two amazing human beings. They split up and got back together a lot, but like essentially I was living with my mom, but I always knew my pops was there. But they kind of set me up, which I feel like we have very similar like roles.
Yeah, we do though.
When you are built and taught values to respect family and respect education and all these things, you can still be that social being, but you just figure out how to get it done and then do what you need to do.
You know what? At the end of the day,
I feel like that's what the
I had to be me. I had to be me, right? And I figured out early on that I needed to satisfy what my dad wanted to do, wanted for me to do, and at the same time, like figure out who I am.
But let me ask you, figuring out what you are, I feel you. But did you always feel like you had like a lightweight edge because even the cool kids that you associated with, you were still a step ahead?
I mean, I like to think I was always cool, you know?
No, but look, you were cool, but like a lot of cool, especially when we're younger, is rebellious to the standpoint of we don't need to give a shit.
Yeah. Right.
We're cool because we
let's
don't
see,
care.
that's the thing.
And we get bad grades.
Yeah.
No. I mean,
right?
With me,
it's crazy.
I always cared what I did. You know, I always cared about what I put my time and effort to. And I think that's what got me here where I am today.
Word.
Whatever I put my time and effort to, I actually was passionate about.
Because it's crazy for your story. You know what I'm saying? And like bringing this full circle, it's like a lot of cats in your position, you could have easily been like, word, let me just keep continuing here. But in your path, you made a very significant transition to an echelon of a career, but it doesn't involve that entertainment aspect and that like mirage facade lifestyle yet.
Absolutely.
Right? What field did you jump into after you graduated college? So
I actually was interviewing my senior year in college. I was interviewing for, I attended job fairs. I wanted to make sure my future was solidified before I graduated. So I actually got a job offer my first semester senior year.
Oh, wow.
Word.
with a top 4 consulting firm, one of the big 4.
Really?
Which one?
Accenture.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Shout out to Accenture. They actually taught me a lot about
Shout
structure.
out to Accenture.
Yeah, about structure, corporate America,
I
how
mean,
to run a
look,
business.
When you talk about consulting firms, I mean, a kid out of college, like you get a job with, what is it, like Accenture, was it Deloitte, PwC?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
One that's 3 of the big 4 right there.
Boom, right there.
Yeah.
So like, you get a job out of there, you're like, you've made it. Like
Yeah.
at that
Was
point,
Bain the next one? Or did that come up like way later?
That's way later.
Yeah,
Word.
later.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, when you talk about consulting firms, so like, and how hard it is to get a job at consulting firms,
Yeah.
especially those like
Bro, it's
ones
insane.
that are like, I mean, these are the top. So like a kid, I can only imagine at that moment when you got that job in your first year, you're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like my future is made. I did it.
Absolutely.
I played my cards right. I worked hard.
Yep.
I partied, but I also got my shit done. I did my extracurricular, went to the job fair, got my
Hey.
job,
Yep.
top 3, let's go. And then,
And still, my second semester, I took 18 credits.
yeah, I mean,
Wait, so you got that offer. What was that like for you?
I mean, it was. You know what? It
was that like, all right, we good? Or was it like,
it was
okay,
it was
cool.
it was actually real gratifying because, the decision I made 4 years prior to that to go into business, I was able to tell my dad, hey dad, I got a job offer. I'm good. You don't have to worry
your
about me.
future's done. Like you, it's
Yeah.
not even just a job. Like
Yeah.
you got like the one
Exactly.
that's going to like, you stick there for long enough, you will be making
Exactly.
deep.
Hey, he
Deep-
made he
deep
made
dollars.
the phone call, and shout out to all the single fathers out there. He made the phone call and said, "Pops, I made it."
Pops, I made it.
Pops,
I made it.
Pops, I made it.
Pops, I made
it. I mean, it is just a really great career. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like I'm sure you still have a lot of friends there. And everything,
Absolutely.
but like that is an amazing route, and to know that like you're coming out of college going into that must have been a pretty gratifying feeling.
No, it was. I mean, it made my second semester of my senior year a lot easier.
Yeah.
Knowing the fact that, hey, I got a job offer waiting on me. All I gotta do is graduate.
Yeah.
But that came because I worked my ass off the last 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So I wanted to enjoy my
Why
last semester.
why did you work your ass off?
You know what?
You had a full scholarship.
I had a full ride.
You were connected in the scene. You were also like a part of like nightlife in
what?
in college.
It had a lot to do with the fact that I made the decision in high school to go into business, and I wanted to prove my dad right.
Word.
Because you had told him no medical, so you had to do something that paralleled that.
Absolutely.
Which had to be super high.
Take motherfucking note of this right here. That's deep. I feel you on that.
I wanted to let him know, like, hey, I'm letting you know I made the right decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so I didn't want to let up. I had my foot on the gas pedal the entire way.
Word.
I didn't want to be comfortable just because I got a full ride. I didn't rest on that. I didn't tip my hat on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Because you had a chip on your shoulder.
I had a chip on my shoulder the
your
entire
dad,
way.
Your
Well,
dad
yeah, something
didn't
to
agree with
prove.
you, but he appreciated what he respected it.
He respected it.
But you wanted
I want him to agree with my
Yes,
decision.
word.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't want him to just respect it. I want him to agree with it. Like, okay,
Word.
I see why you made the decision now. So I
Yeah.
worked my ass off the last 3.5 years before my last semester to make sure that happened.
Word.
And I'm gonna be honest, like I didn't picture it happening that way.
I feel you.
I just worked my ass off.
But
That's
when do we?
Yeah,
Can we really?
yeah.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
man, you had a cush job coming out of college, man. That's something special, but you work hard for it. But it's
Yeah.
like you got a great opportunity there. So after college, you take the job.
Took the job
Before
June
you took
26, 2006.
Before you took the job, did you have any other offers that you were contemplating, or you had that and you just like
I was
went
I was actually contemplating a Wall Street job out in New York as a security analyst.
got it?
What was actually your job at etc.?
I started out as an analyst.
An analyst,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, with an Accenture, they have an up or out move,
Okay.
up or out model.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Meaning if you don't make consultant within 2 years, you're gone.
That was the loudest.
loudest. Pop top open. Like
Bro, are you trying to
that should have been a commercial. Like, yo,
Are you trying to just steal the moment right now? Are you trying to steal the moment, bro?
That was the motherfucker in the room that like knew he had to fart mondo and was squeezing his cheeks so hard, praying that it came out lightweight, and it was just
drink your Shasta.
my deepest apologies, but shout out to that.
Nah,
moment.
you good. You good. No, where we at, man? Like, since we were so rudely interrupted, you know what I'm saying?
What was that?
Yo,
Accenture.
forgive me.
So
Yeah, they had an upper out model, right?
yeah,
So within
2
2
years.
years, if you didn't make consultant, you're gone.
Which is the standard.
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
When
I actually like.
But you were bred for that. At that
I
point.
like that.
I mean, it's
actually
the
like
most
that.
competitive. Everyone in the country is going for that.
Yeah, I like that. I like the fact that if you didn't feel like I fit, let me go so I can do something else.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, needless to say, I made consultant in 2 years, made manager in 3.
Let me ask you this. Let's take it back though.
Go ahead.
When you got that gig, how did Pops feel? Did you?
Man.
Because you started having grown man talks with Pops.
Oh, we had
right?
real grown man talks.
But then-
you know what I
but
mean?
then-
I was sending Pops money. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know, so that always felt good because he always took care of me, and it just felt good to just write him a check just for once. And,
Yes.
and be able to say, "Hey, Dad, thank you." You
Uh,
know?
Yeah.
And it really felt good to be able to support him after he supported me all those years.
Yes.
You know. So
that must have been amazing.
You're 3 years deep, and this is exactly what you think you want to do.
yeah, I'm 3 years deep. So I'm consultant at this point. I made consultant after 2 years. I'm 3 years deep, made manager, and at that point, this whole time I was traveling, man. I was traveling back and forth between Atlanta and Denver, Atlanta, St. Louis.
This is for work.
This for work. This is for work. This is just strictly for consulting.
Work,
You know?
What
I
kind
got-
of companies were you consulting for?
Oh man, it was Charter Communications, AT&T, Bell South, Home Depot, Coca-Cola,
Yeah. So,
Verizon.
Every-
You know,
Big
it's Fortune 500 for real.
Yeah.
So as a consultant, you're an analyst. You become consultant. You're in the management side of things. What does a consultant do? Because you obviously were learning.
Man, we do
when
what
you
the
started.
contract says, you know. So, whatever the client needed, you know, whether it was building their web platform, Charter Communications would build their business platform. You know, they only had residential side; they didn't have commercial.
yeah.
And so with SunTrust, you know, during that time, it was the big housing meltdown, and they wanted to build a system to mitigate their risks against borrowers and you know what they loaned out. You know, it just depended on what they wanted at that time. It was very IT heavy, very corporate heavy.
Yeah.
Did you feel like so you got the job, you got the cush job, but did you feel like you were always evolving, or were there any points in time in that
You know
job where
what?
you're like, damn,
I'm glad you asked that, man, because like I felt like the first 5 years, I felt like I was evolving, and then maybe my fifth, sixth year, I felt like I hit my plateau, like or my ceiling, so to speak.
So this is 6 years deep now.
6 years deep in.
So you're running on the treadmill.
I'm running on a treadmill, and that's all I'm doing.
And you've got a great job.
Great job, great pay,
Shit.
great pay,
Great
like
pay.
great pay.
Yeah.
How were the hours?
Hours were crazy, but I mean, I didn't mind that because I love to work.
Work.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
Yeah. It's like, what else are you gonna do?
what else am I gonna do? You know, and so all I focused on was my career.
Yeah.
You know, and so I wanted to make sure that my career was solid. So I didn't mind the long hours. We would work 12, 16-hour days, no problem. I didn't complain. No
Yeah.
problem. For
That's
what? Why would you
incredible.
complain?
Yeah.
You know?
No, but it's crazy because, like, you know, you hear of these things like consulting is a field, as with, you know, whether you're going to go into trading as you were, like
Yeah.
a lot of these fields, you know, are extremely well-paying gigs, but they also, so it's like life is a balance, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of these gigs are extremely well-paying gigs, and especially fresh out of college, like you ready to do whatever the fuck you need to.
Just to get that
make it.
bread.
And then
you know?
getting that bread, but then you start growing a little older,
Absolutely.
thinking about life in a little broader scheme.
Yeah.
And then, you know, weighing, is this bread giving me as much value as the life that I think or that I begin to understand that I want
Exactly.
to have?
Well, in addition to that, I just want to say, like, also, when you got out of college and thinking about your job, you were very much thinking about money, right?
Absolutely. That's the only thing to think about out of college.
Right. Not so much thinking about, like, what do I really want to be doing?
Yeah.
See, like, when I was in college, I just wanted to be a musician. I didn't care about money, and like for some.
What'd you study in college?
But it's been like when I look back on it now, I just wish I cared about money. That's like
really
for some reason. I don't know if it's a regret. I just feel like I was so uneducated about money and the importance of money.
But did you not study music in college?
Yeah, but bro, I got like a D in music class.
That came out. I feel you.
College,
shout out Trojan.
Dude, I went to 3 different colleges. But I bring that up because for you, money was at the forefront from really a young age at the parties when you understood the value of money. And
bro, money wasn't my like.
But you know what though? I will say the fact that money was important to me because again, and I don't know about y'all's upbringing, but I come from a poor family.
Yeah,
I come from a family that came from the Philippines, came out to the United States and tried to make a living.
Yeah.
So to me, I struggled. But even when I was struggling, I didn't know I was struggling.
Yeah.
I was happy with what we had growing up. I was just grateful to have a roof over our head. I was grateful to have toys here and there, growing up. And so,
but it's like when you start realizing, like,
when you start realizing like what it could be, it's like, oh, you strive for more.
Yeah. See, I envy that, man. I really wish I had that because like money is so important. Like people, like especially like in the music industry, and being a musician, like it's kind of cool to be like, there's this fucked up coolness of like, yo, I'm just an artist. I'm all about the music, bro. Like, I'm just doing this, like, fuck money. I'm just like expressing myself. But it's like, God, man, if I just like wish I had someone to be like, make this business.
But would you have believed it then? Like, let's be fucking real. Looking back at this shit.
You don't do it for the money, but you just realize the value of money and what it could do.
Imagine this. It's like this. It's like you being a fucking high school kid, right? You young, rambunctious. Yeah. You got a fucking uncle separated by 2 degrees giving you real life gems.
Yeah.
But unless you really live, just like with our parents, because there's so much shit our parents tell us that come from experience.
Yeah.
The fucking wildest shit is that 95% of that shit is right.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether we rebel against it or
however we feel about it.
Yeah.
But it's just so.
When you make that choice, then I think it's more of like a life lived. But like certain aspects, So, I can speak of, coming from a place where my mom was the breadwinner of the family. My dad, at a certain point, was the breadwinner of the family. He fell off that wagon when he moved out to LA when they split up for the fucking 12th time.
Yeah.
And left his business just to be closer to me. Like, you learn and gain different things from like happenings in life, right? Like, but I came from a family where I saw what having money and not having it anymore was. Yeah. But also coming from a strong-willed mother and father as well, where, regardless of where they were at a certain point, my mom, when I was 18, said, look, I love you to death. You've become an amazing man. You're a grown man now. At 18, this life is yours.
Yeah.
We're here for you as parents, but we're not here for you financially. Because if we helped you out financially, we'd kill your potential.
Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy, man. It's what it's so crazy that you say that. Nushi just
don't worry about that.
I'm not even gonna say. Just go change your clothes, clean yourself up. What changed me was like, have you ever read Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Yes.
That book changed my life.
It changed my life.
It's so crazy. Yeah. It's like, that's when I was first actually educated about money.
Yeah.
I'm just fascinated. Like
the 4 quadrants.
Well, I'm fascinated in what you've been talking about so far is because you've got this at a young age, the concept of like why that's important. And it like really that for you, it was kind of like an end goal of like, your choices that you're making, the reasons you're working so hard is so you can get that great job to make a lot of money, be comfortable, provide, have success. Like all those things are so fucking important.
Exactly.
But there's an education that I think is so important to have. Like when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I was like, oh wait, assets, and then those generate like income, which pay for your like expense.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Wait, let me.
How does that work? Yeah.
And you like learn this in like econ, like or macro, micro, like you learn this stuff, but for some reason it just never like really sunk in.
Resonates.
The education of the importance of money and how to make that work, and then to build your career around that. There is such a value in the importance of making money, and for you, it was really a driving force.
Absolutely, that was the only force at that time.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
That was my motivation.
Yeah,
was to be able to cut my dad a check.
I love that, man. And bro, what are you like? 24 at this time? 23?
Yeah, I was 25.
You're a kid, you're a baby, man. You're a
Yeah.
baby. Like this, 25 years old. Like
Yeah.
that's nothing.
Yeah.
You know.
But you also had a chip on your shoulder.
No, I had a huge chip on my shoulder.
You dig?
If y'all only knew what was going on right here.
As you clean up the Hennessy.
I'm looking at my.
Get this man a bib.
But yeah, no, I definitely had a huge chip on my shoulder. Was because like, hey, man, you know, I didn't have the toys or the shoes or the J's that I wanted growing up.
Yeah.
You know, and so that was my motivation. Was, hey, if not for personal reasons, it was to help our family.
Let me ask you this: looking back at it, with hindsight being 2020,
yeah,
how thankful are you for that kind of upbringing? Do you feel like that really shaped you and made you?
It's still driving me to this day. You know, it's I'm forever thankful for it because that's one of my main driving factors is I want to be able to, you know, surprise my dad with a new house, you know, surprise my dad with a new car.
I love that. That's such a motivation.
Yes.
I think that's what I think even like when we look at Mama, we made it.
Yeah.
Pops, we made it.
Yeah.
Like it's just funny how whether it's funny, it's just dope that the driving force in so many people is your parents.
Yeah.
You know, everything you're saying, like that's at the forefront of why you're working so hard is for your father. And like, there's no better gratitude than taking your earnings and giving him something, paying him a check, buying him a house is like it's not even for you. It's going to give you ultimate gratification.
Absolutely. No, that's one of my goals, my dreams, you know, and it's not because of money. It's not because of anything else, but the fact that he's provided so much for me to get to where I am. I owe him that, you know, so
that's fucking incredible.
So you're 6 years deep into being a consultant.
Six years deep into it.
Are you first getting thoughts of I could be doing something different?
Yeah, no. Actually, my thoughts came before that. When I was traveling so much, you know, and looking at the people around me and they weren't happy.
Who wasn't happy?
So as I was telling to Anush earlier, like every industry that I walk into, whether it was parties, promotions, whether it was college, whether it was, you know, consulting, I always looked at what is the highest level I could attain.
Okay, partner.
You know? In consulting, it was partner.
Yeah.
In promotion, it was a club owner.
Okay.
In college, it was valedictorian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I looked at those aspects and it's like, I looked at the partners in my firm and then, you know, a lot of them were unhappy. A lot of them were spending time away from their families. A lot of them were on the road. A lot of them complained about how they weren't spending enough time with their families. So,
but they were making a lot of money.
But they were making a lot of money. They were traveling. They were seeing the world.
Yep.
They were doing the things that on the surface looked attractive.
So, why wasn't that attractive to you?
Because I knew what it really was.
Just that you just the unhappiness.
Yeah, the unhappiness, the long hours that they put in. I was in the trenches with them, so I knew exactly what it took to make partner, and I don't think I was willing to put in that time or that effort or that sacrifice.
Wow, you're a single man, like who's
right? Single man,
you're a single man making money, traveling.
Just bought a condo at that point. You know, was living real comfortable in Atlanta, and I wasn't worried about bills. I wasn't worried about anything financially.
So like,
But you know what? I never understood what people meant about when people said money wasn't everything until I actually got the money.
okay, so let's talk about that. So you
know,
It goes from illusion to something tangible.
until I actually got the money, I really understood what they meant, because I was like, yo, I was one of those people like, yo, you're crazy.
you're look, man, you're at the height of your career success. You keep going up. You've had no pitfalls up to this point.
Yeah, I was moving up the corporate ladder, like the American dream.
In my eyes, and everyone else probably listening to this, like why even stop that? Like you're winning to the maximum degree right now, and you're on the road that all you have to do is stay on this road, and you will achieve that ultimate like financial, career, status, success. How can you even have these thoughts right now?
I'm gonna tell you why. When I made manager, I actually jumped ship from Accenture to a more local firm called Slalom. It was still a consulting firm, but I didn't travel as much.
Okay.
I woke up one day and it said, you know what? I'm not happy.
Why?
I didn't want to go to work.
What weren't you happy with?
I didn't want to go to work.
You just
Really?
didn't want to do it.
But I knew I had to go for the check.
Yeah. Well,
and most people do. Most people just wake up for the check.
yeah.
But I was fortunate enough to be in a position where if I didn't want to go to work, I didn't have to.
Yeah.
I saved enough money to go to work.
So
I was smart with my money during those 5 years prior. I stacked up, made the right investments, bought a house, and I just didn't want to go to work one day.
Word.
You just were
what was that like?
Ah, man.
It was miserable.
What was that?
It was miserable, bro.
Really?
Like
Did you feel guilty?
I didn't feel guilty, but I felt like I was selling myself out.
Why?
Only because I was going in for a check. I was physically dressing up, hopping in the shower, dressing up, hopping in my car.
You don't like the work anymore?
And driving to work.
Or did you ever like the work?
You know what?
Ooh.
That's a good question. I like the lessons that it taught me. But again, like you said, hindsight is always 20/20.
Yeah.
I like the lessons that it taught me. I like the valuable lessons that I learned.
Yeah.
But looking back at it, I never liked the work.
Word.
I never.
Ooh, that's fucking.
I never.
Yo, that's a test.
Yeah.
No, but you know what that is though? Like hearing your story, and shout out to those like everybody that's listening to this podcast. Understand the true brilliance in absolute form of listening.
Yeah.
Right? Because what I've really understood about your story is that you were raised in an environment
a certain way
where you were very tactical and decisive about the decisions that you were making, and you also had goals because you were raised to set a bar.
And hold that thought, Anush, because I do want to say that every goal I put in front of myself, I reached up to this point.
Word.
In my eyes, you're the most successful person I know.
Every goal I put in front of myself, I reached it, and that's why I think goals are important.
Yeah.
You have to put a target in front of yourself to reach it.
Respect.
And so, but once I reached it, I realized it's not actually what I wanted.
But isn't that what life is?
That's what life is about.
But also, I mean, at the same time, like your priority wasn't even like your priority. You didn't wake up in the morning thinking like I have to do what I want. You woke up in the morning thinking like I got to make money because that was at the forefront. That
was the forefront. That was the goal,
and that was the value. And you did that.
Was it that 6 years in? Like, was it still I gotta make money?
Well, this is the turning point where all of a sudden you fulfilled your number one goal, and now you go to number two, or your goal changes. Your number two becomes your number one. Like I made my money, I accomplished that. Now wait, am I really happy?
Yeah.
And like sometimes you don't even realize like different things make you happy.
Exactly. You don't realize how unhappy or happy you are until you realize it.
Like you
know what I mean?
Never know.
And by the way, let's be
But
super
you have
real.
you have to try.
But you put yourself in the trenches,
position
bro.
to figure it out.
Yes.
You have to put yourself in the trenches
That's
to
a
figure
huge
it out.
distinction, though.
But look. I mean, look. Money doesn't buy happiness, but either does poverty. Let's
Yeah.
be real.
Off
Think
top.
about it, listen,
so
what do they
off
say?
top.
Hold on. What they say? They say money doesn't buy happiness, but being broke doesn't make you happy either.
Yeah,
exactly.
true.
So you kind of like got number one, like cool. You're like,
Yeah.
I've got my money now. I can actually like almost afford the moment, which it wasn't conscious to you. You didn't be like, okay, let me reevaluate. You just woke up one morning and was like, I'm not happy.
I woke up one morning, and then when I switched from one consulting firm to the other, I woke up not
Do you
happy.
think that had a lot to do with it, or what was that move?
You know what? I think
what was that
initially I thought it was, hey, maybe because I'm traveling so much, I'm not happy, and I'm not enjoying Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know, I was at Atlanta at that point.
You tried to point the happiness on something.
Well, you know, I had to try to hone something out, single something
make
out.
it tangible, yeah.
Then I woke up, I would jump ship, went to another firm, got paid 30% more than what I was getting paid.
And you're like, oh, more money.
Like more money, I'm thinking
more
maybe
happiness.
that may do
More
it.
money, less travel, you're winning.
More
I'm
happiness.
thinking that's what would satisfy me.
Yeah.
That didn't do it.
Word.
You know, and so a critical event happened between me jumping ship from one consulting firm to another. Was
What year was this? Let's put this in
was
perspective.
all right. So this was all right. So when I jumped consulting firms was 2012, 2013.
Word.
Around 2009. Yeah, 2009. One of my boys that I threw parties with in college. His best friend happened to be an actor. And so, well, at that point he was a model. He was a video model. Sean John model. My bad, I'm putting your business out there.
Put it out there.
Sean John model, Carcanine model.
Word.
Shout out Kanye West. Kidding.
No, I mean,
So this is 09.
This is 09.
Okay.
You know, but he got a gig at House of Pain around 2007.
And this is
Lance Gross, my
Lance
dog,
Gross.
one of my good friends.
What up, Lance?
And so initially he was supposed to film only 10 episodes. Now, mind you, I graduated 2006. I was 1 year removed out of college. I bought a condo 1 year removed out of college. Wow. That's how good my money was at that time.
I would be your friend just for your
So
condo.
you had
just for the condo, just to let
so
you
you
know.
had the condo
I had the
before
condo.
you even got
No,
the fucking
I
consulting
bought the condo
job.
pre-construction, so it wasn't even open yet. I bought it.
Oh,
You know what
I
I'm saying?
feel you.
So
I
around
want,
that,
I want one of those in the future,
Word. And this
whenever
is,
that's gonna
no,
be.
this is before Accenture.
yeah, no, this was during
No,
Accenture.
During Accenture. Okay.
He already knew. He already
Yeah.
knew.
I already knew my money was coming in.
Done.
You know, so around that time, he was filming 10 episodes for House of Pain. You know, a good friend of mine that was throwing promotion with, that was his best friend. We got introduced.
Got you.
You know, 10 episodes came. He filmed it. We were cool. He went back to LA. I stayed in Atlanta. Turns out that the show got picked up by TBS.
It blew up.
Right? So he comes back to Atlanta like, hey, I need a spot. You know any spots? Hey, matter of fact, I just got a condo at this spot. So I show him the condo. He ends up buying a place. We're 10 floors apart, and we end up becoming good friends.
Yeah.
Those 10 episodes eventually turned up to be 254. So you just count how much money that is.
254.
So along that time, when he got his condo, I got my condo. We eventually move in. I asked him, hey, you know, what are you doing? Why the times you're not filming? You know, he said nothing. So being from the promotional background,
Yes.
I start calling them, start doing cold calls. All my promoters I know.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all want to host? Y'all want to host? Hey, everybody say yes. So we went on tour the year 2010, 2009,
Really?
2010. We went on a fucking tour.
So you're still in consulting.
I'm still in consulting.
Yeah.
And I'm still making these calls.
Okay.
Right? So Monday through Thursday, I'm traveling, you know, for consulting. Friday through Sunday, I'm traveling with Lance. So I never got a chance to really enjoy my condo. But at the same time, I was having fun, partying, right?
Yeah.
Still thinking about the condo.
Yeah, that's all I'm thinking about. That's all I'm thinking about, bro. Listen, that condo cost me a grip. Like, hey, yo. So, that was always in the back of my mind.
I hear you.
You know, this whole time, you know, I'm earning money in corporate America, and I'm dipping a foot in entertainment.
And what are you doing on these tours, on these weekend tours?
These tours, like, I mean, all we're doing is popping bottles, man. I'll be
You're throwing parties?
No, I'm not even throwing them. We're just showing up.
His Rolodex at that point allowed him to
so
seize
vast.
an opportunity.
It was so
because
vast.
you had already consulted for so many brands.
So many brands.
So you basically like
I'm co-calling brands. I'm co-calling promoters.
But
I'm
you
co-calling clubs.
but you already
when you were in the promoter days in
I'm
college.
I'm still promoting.
and you're showing up
it.
with Lance to these brand events.
Brand events, parties.
Okay. Because
Clubs,
now
everything.
I love this because you had worked your ass off to build relationships in this consulting world with brands.
Absolutely.
You know how to talk to them.
Absolutely.
You know how to email them.
I know that corporate language.
So important. It is a
So
language.
important.
It's a language.
If that's one thing I can pass on to the next man is knowing what hat to put on when you walk in a room.
Man, it even comes down to how you email somebody.
Oh man, listen.
What does that mean for the listeners that may or may not know what that is? Because like
language, bro.
This is my
Listen,
biggest
man.
thing. Like, there's no assumptions to be made here.
No, absolutely. Like, listen, like, you know, I'm a firm believer that you say true to yourself.
Yes.
But I'm also a firm believer that you talk the language that's in front of you.
Absolutely.
You talk the language, you speak the language, you walk the language with the people that is in front of you. So you put me in a studio, I know how to talk that.
Yeah.
You know, you put me in a room with Ford or Toyota or Mercedes Benz, I know how to talk that language.
Yes.
See,
You put me in a room with an agency, I know how to talk that language.
That's a very critical distinction.
And what's interesting is like, you know, people think like you have to be one identity, right? Like you have to be either like super this side or super that side. The thing is like you can encompass all different sides of you. You can be, you know, funny and telling like dick jokes on one side of you, and then be super, and then be
Straight
super,
and narrow.
then be super corporate, doing a 7-figure deal, and then popping bottles on the other corner, and like. You can have all those, and those are all parts of who you are. You don't have to be like, oh, just because I'm on this side doesn't mean I can't. There's people are multi.
Listen, when I say true character, I mean that in a sense that hey, you just got to be honest with who yourself.
Yeah,
you know, you got to be honest with people. You got to be transparent. You have to.
But did you always have that, or is that something that again in hindsight? We could look back on because like I feel like that honesty, right? That
honesty can be learned, but with me, I've always been transparent, man. I just really believe that it's easier to tell the truth than to keep up with a lie.
Yeah, very, very
absolutely.
true.
So
I love that.
With a lie, it's you have to remember that lie.
You have to put different faces on.
Yeah.
It's not different hats. It's different beings.
And when you're telling the truth, it's effortless.
Yes.
Because it is what it is.
Yes.
You know, so
at this point, you're now like.
So now at this point, I'm consulting. I'm doing branding for Lance.
And you're doing this on the weekends, which is like really the first step for you to start fulfilling whatever that like happiness void is missing.
I'm gonna be real with y'all, man. Like to me, it wasn't to fill a void. It was to make extra money.
Hey,
really?
No, hold on.
Really?
You know what's crazy? You know what's wild?
My bad.
Hey, no, you know what's crazy? Shout out to you for bringing that up, and shout out to you for saying that, because in my mindset, knowing Vince and hearing his story right now, he was testing this marketplace to see if it was gonna scale, bro.
It's crazy. I
love that.
He was literally like. This is what we talk about. And,
can we make money out of this?
Yes.
It's still like
this was a test of scale right here because.
But it's still
I wasn't.
It was still
mind
cool
you.
for him.
I wasn't pressed for money, but hey, during my Fridays and Sundays, all I do is party anyway.
Word.
I'm not doing shit. I'm not doing shit but spending money during Fridays through Sunday.
Word.
So can we make money during these days?
Yeah.
And that's all I really thought
I
about
feel you.
at the jump.
But now I want to point this out too. It's actually not at that point. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. It's not even about making the actual money. It's more of the game of, can we make money?
Absolutely.
Because you don't need money at this
Absolutely.
point. So but now you just love.
Can I add?
That's a very key distinction there.
It's a key distinction. Can I put money in your pocket?
Because that's very fun for you.
Yeah.
The game of it. The game. The idea.
Because
is
consulting is about putting money in other people's pocket.
Yes.
Let's be real about consulting.
Yeah.
Whether you're corporate consulting, entertainment consulting, it's all about putting money in people's pockets.
So there's this. I think what excites you at that point is like what was starting to exhilarate you is that money's the thing, but it's not like necessarily the dollar amount or the act of making money.
Absolutely not. Because I'm gonna be real. We were doing appearances for $1,000.
I feel you.
2 bottles and 2 coach flights. You know what I mean? Like,
but it's the idea.
That's what we were doing.
But it was extra bread.
But it was extra bread. You were paying me to come pop bottles.
But more importantly, you're thinking of like, now it's just a game. Like now you're thinking about strategy. You're thinking about business, and that what makes business so exciting is thinking
it's
how could we,
something from the ground up.
There we go.
Absolutely.
You got there.
Boom.
I feel. I'm gonna give you that little wave. You got there.
And that's what it was for me. Is because like, hey, in high school, I told my dad I wanted to be in business. I never thought about being in business for somebody else. I always thought about business with myself.
Yeah.
Word.
For myself.
Yeah.
Word.
You know, so this was an avenue and a pathway to get there.
Yep.
You know, so when I saw the opportunity, I fucking ran with it.
So did you ever thought of being an entrepreneur at this point too?
No.
Not yet.
Still not
yet.
Still
okay.
not.
Got it.
Because to me,
You're
at
still
this point, it was an
balancing
experiment because I still had my corporate gig. I was still making good money.
Yeah.
To me, this was just still like, hey, let's get extra money on the side. Let's see if this works. And if it does, hey, let's keep going.
Got
right?
you.
So this is around 2010, 2011. And then, you know, I was still working corporate consulting at this point till about 2012, 2013. And at that point, I was like, you know what? Lance had stopped filming House of Pain. He was no longer in Atlanta. He moved back to L.A.
Mm-hmm.
I made the decision to move to L.A. May 2013.
Really?
And then
Why?
At that point, I was about 7 years into consulting.
Could you work remotely? Or did you have to be in Atlanta?
I could work remotely. But one of the things that I truly learned during those years when I was doing both sides was you can never give 100% to your all to either side.
It was always a tactical play. Man.
Yeah, it was all strategy for me. And so when I decided to take the leap, I wanted to make sure I took 100% leap, not a 50% leap.
Man, you know.
I'm saying like I just ate something delicious.
But I will
right
I will say the fact that I did do dual duty.
Yeah.
To figure out that that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
But okay, so
because you already compartmentalized your time.
Yeah. Like it took.
You
me
were like,
time,
"Am I gonna party?
But you know
and
what?
just party?"
It took me time to figure that shit out.
But
know what I
here's the thing: are you making as much money now? Stop consulting into this new venture.
I'm making more, baby.
You're making.
You know what I'm saying?
What about
I'm making-
at that point? At the point you
At
moved
that
to
point-
LA?
He said, "I'm making
Sorry.
more, baby."
Sorry.
You understand me?
Not right now. Don't get too far. In 2013,
No.
when you
2000
moved to
you
LA,
know what? 2013. No, you're right.
Yeah.
No, that's a valid question.
Because
I was not. But
Retract.
I between 2006 and 2013, I planned it well enough that I had a cushion.
So, but here's
That I didn't have to make as much.
Got
That
it.
I knew that, hey, if I'm gonna take this leap eventually, I'm gonna need some cushion to fall back on in case shit don't work out the way I planned.
But here's a great moment of like you having to talk to yourself and be like, I'm going to do something professionally full time that's not paying me as much as what I'm doing, where money actually stopped.
Listen, 2013 didn't pay me shit at all.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
know what I mean?
This is the first time in your career where you're seeing.
I wasn't seeing a check every 2 weeks. I wasn't seeing,
So
a check.
So
I may
hold on,
not
hold
even
on,
see a
hold
your
on,
check
hold
every
on.
month.
your entire life, your entire career up until this point
Absolutely.
is based on making money, and now
Absolutely.
you just made a decision
To
to
not-
do something that's
Absolutely.
not making you money right
Absolutely.
But hold
not.
on, let's go back to that decision because I don't feel like we hit that. What was that decision like for you? Because we're talking about that, and yes, you're very strategic with your decisions. It's like I'll tell you this: looking, it's crazy because you inspire me. Because not only did your upbringing give you natural gifts, right? Shout out to Joey signaling me for the first time
Close
in
to
like
the mic.
7 episodes that he had to tell me to get close to the mic. But I'm gonna give y'all that because we all fuck up at certain points, yeah. And I've done it more than once on this episode. But shout out to that. But look, you have these talents. You're always searching for more, right? What was that point where because let's be really honest, no matter who Lance was, it could have been anybody. Like this is the crazy shit about like truly appreciating hearing your story because it's brilliant to hear because it could have been anybody or it could have been any opportunity. There could have been a car wash that was popping off in fucking Atlanta that needed a little bit of money.
Yeah.
But that you saw that they were doing something different and hitting the marketplace that you would have just been like, all right, word, let me get the bread in. And okay, y'all are doing something different. Let me come in and get your operation correct so we can scale it to 10.
Yeah.
Right? It just so happened to be Lance Gross.
Yeah.
Right?
But you know what?
So
I'm going to be real with you.
Talk to me.
Like,
Talk to me because I'm going in right now.
At that point, it wasn't the Lance Gross y'all know now.
No, it wasn't. Look, this is the thing. And now I'll continue because I want to let you say that.
Yeah.
You feel me? Because the beauty about your journey, like now mind you, let's take a moment to really like channel this back, right?
Yeah.
You grew up single father household.
Yep.
High school, you grew up with a father that truly put his life into you.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
You grew up as a son that knew that his father is giving his son, right, everything that he can to make sure that his son has an opportunity.
Absolutely.
You knew what opportunities were because
Absolutely.
you did not have them coming up.
Absolutely.
But you knew what the idea that was. You knew what it took to get there. And your father instilled in you the values and the morals that it took for somebody in society to be able to have the shot of getting there if they so chose.
Absolutely.
Decisions.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Your father's wish for you, as everybody has a parental wish for them, was to be a doctor.
Yep.
Fortunately for you, right? Unfortunately for your father,
thank you,
you
Dad.
went into a fucking like medical high school, which I didn't know that existed.
Yeah.
Shout out to medical magnets in fucking Texas.
Yeah.
You feel me? Where cats are drawing blood
The
in
Bakey
the
High
9th
School,
grade.
you know?
That's beyond
shout out.
an IB program or fucking AP or
Yeah.
God knows what.
Yeah.
Like you're sticking a needle in a vein. You feel me? But you realize that's not what you wanted to do early. You still maintain that. Life throws you a girlfriend who you're close with at the time.
Yep.
You change your life
whether you're
Took that leap. with
yeah,
her.
whether you're
Yeah.
one of those cats that fucking full force, I'll do whatever. Whether you'll be like, I'll go to community college where you at, or you'll be like Lance. You'll be like, excuse me. You'll be like Vince that had the fucking pinky toe of God at that time, right? Where he was stretching it to his ear, but it
Like,
happened
yo.
to touch the ground.
Yeah.
God, Guinness Book of World Records.
That's some real shit.
right?
That's some real shit.
You
Got
did.
there.
Yeah.
Experiences happened, right? Was developing this nightlife platform.
Yep.
Right? But still decided to get for the check.
Yep.
The nightlife platform was cool, but an assumption of mine, and correct me anytime if I'm wrong, but I'm just like,
Nah, this is all accurate, bro.
Is nightlife at that time was cool for you, but there was too many distractions. You probably saw a lot of shit go down and you were like, damn, this motherfucker went that way, that motherfucker went this way. I'm trying to scale up.
Yeah.
Right? That job comes into play
Yep.
with Accenture.
Yep.
Great opportunity. You take that knowing that it's a culmination of everything that
That
you
I
were
strive
getting
for.
to
That I
and
strive for.
striving for.
Yeah.
And also it was the key to unlock the ease of your father to let him know that
you're good.
My son is good.
Yeah.
Which is all he wanted in the first place.
At the forefront.
Right?
Absolutely.
You're making your bread. Chance comes along. You're making your bread. Things happen in life. We learn. Like, the beauty of you is that you're scaling your life, but you also have a very distinguished focus. You don't need to be the cool guy. The cool guy to you is the guy that has his life in order.
Absolutely.
And every decision that you've been making up until this point and continued, as we'll get to, has been, where's my life at?
Yeah.
Right? Lance comes along. It's a test phase for you. Because, like, you're not the cat that's in banking, that is in New York, that is working 100 billion hours a week, that just spends Gupu money, but it's a super lost life. You're making money, but you still have like a hold, but you're still assessing your life.
Yeah.
And then it gets to a point where you change firms, you've built your whole pedigree. You also have a friend that you see as like, look, let's be honest. Just like you said, like, he wasn't the Lance that we know today.
Yeah.
Let's be very real. Cats like yourself and myself and Joe, like, we have something, regardless of our acumen, even though all of us come from a very similar ilk.
Yeah.
We have that acumen where we can see a star in a person.
Absolutely.
You know damn well that, like, you would stand on your conviction saying that Lance Gross is who he is now back then.
And that's what I did.
You knew that.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Right?
I sold him as such.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So you took that leap knowing that you would be good, and you find it out, you reach your peak there. You reach your ceiling, as you said, right?
Yeah.
In that world, it's that ceiling. And you knew you wanted something different. And you also knew that you were very diligent with your work, and you were very smart and deliberate with the decisions that you had made.
Absolutely.
And that you put yourself in a position where you didn't need to continue to get the check, but you had it there.
Yeah.
But the check didn't mean as much for you anymore, nor did it carry the personal weight that it did.
Yep.
So you took that leap because you believed, because your whole thing was believing in yourself, but now you believed in yourself and your decisions, but you saw Lance and you knew that he had something, but you also knew that you were giving him something that he didn't have.
Dang, you need to write my biography, bro.
You feel who going
what
autobiography?
I'm saying? That's real.
So we're here now.
Yeah.
It's 2013. You didn't make shit in 2013, or comparatively, right?
I didn't make shit. You can say that. I didn't make shit.
You're living off the last, what?
7 years. Yeah, I didn't make shit.
This motherfucker had a condo for God knows how long. And he probably spent 2 days.
Luckily, I had a tenant in there. You know?
So hold on. So he rented the condo out.
Yeah.
But think about how weird that must be, just to, like, for the first time in your life, since you became a professional,
to not make anything.
To not make anything.
Like I was in college again, all over again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you have a cushion, but, like, always, like, anyone who's, like, driven to continuously make money.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about living off your cushion. You're thinking about, like, I'm not making money.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking.
You're not like, oh, I'm losing money. You're just like, I'm not making it.
I'll be honest with y'all. Like, my first 8 to 10 months in LA, I questioned why the fuck I was in LA.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that?
It was trying, man. It was long nights, long days. I questioned my move. You know, I questioned the fact that I just turned down a 6-figure gig.
Yeah. And what's your vision at this time, though?
My vision at this time was a little jaded, because the fact that, damn, like, I felt like I made the wrong decision at that time.
Yeah.
You know, at that time I was like, damn, like, why would I leave a 6-figure job to not make any money? What the fuck was I thinking?
Why did you?
And the only reason that I could come up with was the fact that because I wasn't happy.
So
but even though I wasn't making any money, I was happy with the fact that I was pursuing what I wanted to do. Which was at this time was pursuing a career in the entertainment industry.
And so you waking up every morning now is different. You're not making
me
money.
Waking up wasn't as comfortable. You know, me waking up wasn't wasn't as comfortable as it used to be. Knowing the fact that all my bills were paid, I had a roof over my head. It put me in a space where my back was against the wall.
Yeah.
Where I had to fend for my own all over again.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that's the best thing I could have ever done for myself at that time.
Why is that?
Only because the year prior, I woke up at the same time.
Yeah. Routine.
And I was comfortable. I knew I was getting a check in 2 weeks, no matter what kind of effort I put in those 2 weeks. Whether I put in 10% or 150%, I knew I was gonna get the same.
And
check.
for you, that's a killer, bro.
And to me, like the way I'm built, it was unsettling.
And waking up every morning, now trying to fulfill this new kind of pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
It was also guided though by, you could call it faith or confidence or talent, but like,
listen, you call it what you want. It took a lot of prayer. It took a lot of prayer. It took a lot of faith. It took a lot of effort. It took a lot of energy.
But you believed in Lance and you believed in yourself enough that you can make some shit happen.
An asshole, bro. You believed in your motherfucking self. Let's be honest.
And then you know what? Regardless of Lance, being there, that's my dog. But we're friends first. But regardless of him, I made that move on my own. I never consulted him. We never had that talk. Hey, I'm gonna do this. I expect you to do this. I knew you know what? I put myself out there to do enough things that I knew I didn't want to do to know what I actually wanted to do.
So hold on, let's speak on that point. The you knowing what you didn't want to do.
Yeah.
Right. What do you mean by that? Like, what's the importance?
You know
of that?
what? So I did consulting because of I did consulting to prove my pops right. Like the fact that, hey, you know what? I took on business.
Yeah.
I told you I wanted to be in business. Here's a business gig.
Yeah.
So I took that on just to let him know, like, yeah, I'm gonna be good. But I didn't know that's not what I wanted to do till I actually got into it.
Right.
Word.
So I actually had to make an attempt. It's like, it's like trying out for basketball or football team.
Yeah.
You knew, like, hey, you're going to make it or you're not. You know what I mean? You have to at least make a try. You have to make an attempt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I made that attempt. I made it, but it wasn't what I wanted to do.
True.
So now that you're in LA and you're struggling like month after month figuring out what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, listen, I'm struggling month after month. I'm looking at my friends. And by the way, shout out to my homies. Like, they held me down. I couldn't have made it here without them. But, month after month, it's like I question myself, why did you even move? Like, why did you leave your job who is paying you this, a 6-figure salary?
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks, you're good. You're living in a comfortable condo.
Yeah.
You're driving whatever the fuck you want. Why would you put yourself in this situation?
So why did you?
I did that.
Looking back at it now.
No, looking back at it now, I did it because I wasn't happy, man.
Word.
And I'm not here to just get a check and pay bills.
Word.
That's not what I was. That's not what I was made for. I was made here to thrive and do what I want to do. And I firmly believe that we're all capable of that. And we just find that.
Before I accept that, right, is on the same token, how critical was what you gained and learned from making that decision?
I was only able to realize that to be able to experience a 6-figure salary. So let me start there.
Word.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if I would have never experienced a 6-figure salary, I may still be working for a check right now.
Word.
I may still be working for, living check to check.
Word.
if I never experienced, if I continued to pursue medicine and live through life miserably, I wouldn't know anything else.
Yeah.
And even if you stayed in consulting, just because that was a guaranteed check at that point.
Even if I stayed in consulting, I may not be able to truly live, man.
Word.
Like, and I know that's kind of deep to say, but
It's very deep.
It's kind of deep to say, but it's like I'm a true testament in the fact that money is not everything, man.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that till I got money.
Word.
And
You didn't think about what having money was, but
because
you got
I never had it.
Yes.
I never had money.
Yeah.
So when I finally got it, I thought that was the goal. But to me, looking back, hindsight, that was only the journey.
Word. Hey.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
The journey, bro.
was just getting the money.
Yeah.
That was just part of it.
Yeah.
For me to realize that, hey, you're built more than a check.
And now, but you're in LA at this point, and you're questioning everything. When was like the next turning point where you're like, stop questioning things, and you were like, wait a minute,
I feel you, bro.
Like,
talk to him.
Like, I want to know the moment where you're like, no, this is where I need to be, and your happiness.
Ooh, that's a transitional. That's a pivot point right there.
You are finding that. What is that point of like? I'm not questioning myself. I'm waking up knowing confidently that this is where I want to be. This is where I need to be.
The next turning point for me was in the 10th month. I will never forget it.
Speak on it.
So 2013, 10th month.
No, 2014.
Oh, okay.
2013.
So that's the 34th month.
It feels like it. But
so 10th month.
I was able to cut 2 6-figure checks for a client in 1 month.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And I'm gonna get 20%.
20%. So wait, but what are you doing at this point? Like literally, like what are you doing professionally?
So still staying course. Still came out here. What my goal was to build a management company, right?
So you came out here to build your management company.
To work for myself.
Yeah.
To dictate my own hours.
Yeah.
It became eat what you kill.
Eat what you kill.
And you're managing.
At this point, by now, I'm managing Lance, and I'm managing a DJ named Baby U, who just moved out here from Atlanta as well.
So you started your own management company. Well, basically just you as a manager.
Me as a manager, along with my business partner Dallas.
Yes.
Correct. So,
and what was Dallas doing at that point?
He was working his way up through Atlantic Records. At that point, it was Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers liquidated all their urban department to Atlantic. He became senior vice president. He was responsible for bringing MMG to Atlantic Records. That was a big deal for him. He made vice president at that point. And then from then on, he's now senior vice president. And so that was a huge deal in the music industry, was to bring, at that point, 2014, you gotta think about it. You can't think about it right now, but think about it back then, 2014. No, that was the hottest label.
Yeah.
Yes.
At that time. You can't name a label that was hot in 2014
Yeah.
Maybe True. Young Money. Maybe. But that's, maybe.
Yeah. Young
maybe.
Money. Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
But at that time, Ross was popping.
Yep.
Meek was popping.
Yep.
Wale was popping. Just came up with Ambition. You know what I mean? And so he signed K Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's doing great things right now.
Yeah.
Shout out to K. But at that time, he was moving.
Yeah.
And so that was my dog. That was my running partner. And so
it was you and your peers striving to be great at that point.
It was me and my peers, just the dude I started out with freshman year, 2002, just striving to do some dope shit.
Word.
We weren't even striving to be great at that point.
Really?
We were just striving to do dope shit.
Word.
Yeah.
And so 2014 came around. did some deals that panned out. 2015, last year, signed DJ Baby You the Scam. Shout out to Sujit.
Well, he crushes it, bro.
He crushes it, man.
Sujit is a giant.
Yeah. So you have an overall like it's just is a talent management company, music.
So around 2015, me and Dallas figured out we don't want to be day to day.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to be the person that's always there with the talent.
It's taxing, bro.
You know, we know too many people to just be there with one person.
Yeah.
And so we started a talent consulting agency.
Talent consulting. Oh, I love that. I love that.
So back to my consulting roots.
Yeah.
This is pulling back all the way to 2006.
Word.
What I learned in consulting was, hey, you do a job, you do a dope project for somebody, you move the fuck on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, you maintain
That's
that.
a critical distinction, though.
It's critical. I want to bring it back to that point only because the lessons that I've learned between 2006 and 2013 are critical to what I'm doing today.
Word.
And between 2006 and 2013, I was doing shit I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
Word.
You know? But I took those skills and applied it to what I'm doing now
Yeah.
for myself. You know?
Yep.
And so, you know, we figured out we don't want to be day to day. We want to be more consulting, do dope projects with certain talents, certain celebrities, and keep it moving. And so, now anytime my caller ID pop up on somebody's phone, they know it's money coming in.
I
So
feel
they're
you.
answering it.
Yeah.
You feel me? It's
Yep.
not like, oh shit, Vincent calling, let me not pick it up.
Right.
You know, it's no longer an obligation.
Yeah.
It's more so an opportunity.
Let me ask you this, like critical to that point, because that's definitely a point. Did you feel a shift in power at that point? Did you understand it, or was that still becoming known to you? Because
you know what,
that's a real.
I understood it last year. I understood it 2015. Okay. I did understand it last year because doing day to day is tedious, and the only person I'm doing day to day now is for Lance, because that's the guy I started out with.
Word. And
that's who I'm a ride or die with.
Yeah.
You know,
respect.
And I'm a firm believer that you stick with people that stuck with you when you had nothing to offer.
Yes.
I had nothing to offer to Lance.
Yes.
But he believed
because it's a fucking crazy game, bro.
He believed in me though.
Yes.
You know, he believed in the fact that, hey, you know what, V, it's only $1,000, but let's do it. Let's rock.
Yep.
You know, and now we're getting 10, 15, 20. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So, and at last year, I just, it just clicked. Like, hey, we're onto something. We're doing dope shit for people. We're bringing them value. We're bringing them opportunities, and we're a liability. We're no longer a liability. We're an asset.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's a critical distinction.
And so I'm actually working on something like in the works right now. I don't want to announce. So I'm gonna announce next time I come on.
Word. And you gonna come on and
the 1 year anniversary.
Respect.
Yeah. No, and I'm working on something right now that's really big. So, but that opportunity would have never came if I would never took that leap. If I would never took that gig at Accenture, and I would have never went to Atlanta. So I say that all to say, like, hey, man, you may not ever know what you want to do.
Yeah.
But hey, you just take one step, man.
Word.
We talk a lot about opportunities.
Yeah.
When and how do you know to take that opportunity and what to do with it?
The reason why I saw the opportunities that I have had is because I took that first step, man. Honestly,
what really gets you to take that first step?
The courage to take that first step was me taking that step first when I was graduating from college to sacrifice my time instead of partying during senior week was going to job fairs. You know what I mean?
Do you think it was similar to the first step you took in telling your dad that you don't want to be medical?
Absolutely, because if I would have followed the dreams he had for me, I would have never been able to take the next step that I wanted to take. Word. I would have taken the next step that he wanted me to take.
Yeah.
And so it's essentially putting yourself out there to see if you succeed or you fail. Whether you succeed or you fail, you're gonna know what you want to do with the next step. Because if you succeed with that first step, you know you're gonna be in succession for the next step after that in the same path.
Yeah.
But if you succeed in the first step and know that's like, hey, you know what? I don't know if I want to do this. You're gonna take that next step to the right, not forward, to the right, a lateral step. You might take a lateral step and say, you know what, I'm gonna step to the right,
shimmy step,
and say, you know what, I don't want to go the medical route, but I want to go business route.
Yep.
And I took that lateral step. It did take me a year back, but instead of taking me 4 years back, it only took me a year.
Word. So do you think there's more value in knowing, and because I love this topic, I love that you brought this up, it's fascinating. Do you think there's more value in knowing what you don't want than knowing what you want?
Man, honestly, I mean, if you know exactly what you want, then you wouldn't even be listening to this radio show. You wouldn't be questioning yourself, you know, and none of that. But for me, from my standpoint, I didn't know what I want.
Word.
But you knew what you don't want.
I knew I took enough steps to know what I didn't want.
And every time you knew you didn't want that, you took a step without even knowing that was going to be successful. But you knew at least you didn't want this.
Exactly, and I think that's just as important and just as critical for anybody that's listening out there is the fact that, hey, yo, like, it's okay to not know what you want. Some people live their lives not knowing what they want.
Yeah.
But you have to take enough shots, and you have to take, you know, enough steps to figure out and really immerse yourself in that opportunity to know what you don't want.
Yeah.
You know, and to me that's more important, because to me, especially if you don't know what you don't want, especially if you don't know what you want.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you want, why not narrow that shit down?
I feel
you know, why not take enough steps or take enough shots to figure out what you don't want?
At least.
At the you owe that to yourself.
You take 50% of the pressure off.
Yeah, like within one step or within one move, you can figure out if that's what you want or not. And that's one thing you can either check off your list or cross off your list. And to me, that's what worked, you know. And now I'm on a path where, damn, I know exactly what I wanted. But ask me this same question. Damn, I'm 33 now. Shit. 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah.
Yo, I would have never thought I'd be in entertainment.
Word.
Ever. I come from Houston, Texas. Y'all gotta understand that. You know what I mean? I don't come from
beautiful Beverly Hills.
I don't come from Hollywood. I don't look at my balcony and see the Hollywood sign. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so, you know, for me, it was more so figuring out, hey, let me take enough shots to figure out what I don't want to figure out what I do want.
Word.
You know, and so that's what worked for me. And some people are more fortunate than others, right? Like you take a LeBron James, where he knew what he wanted to do out of high school. He wanted to go to NBA, and he did it.
Yeah.
You know?
But then look, I feel that completely. He did. But then let's also not forget about a Dallas was it Dallas Austin?
Dallas Austin.
No, excuse me. A Maverick Carter.
Carter.
I just said Dallas.
Yeah.
I'm over here thinking about Texas. A Maverick Carter.
That
was
play
that
ball.
boy.
That play ball.
That was that boy for him.
Yeah.
That said, look, word, I'm here for you as a boy.
Yeah.
I have your best interests at heart. And I may or may not know what I'm doing
but
yet.
But I'm going to figure it out.
I want the best for you.
Exactly.
And I'm going to figure it out.
And that's actually a great point, because I'm pretty sure Maverick never knew in high school that he was going to be what he was today.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And but
the bounds that it would reach.
But by staying on top of his shit, you know, and studying what he needed to study, and taking the right steps that he needed to take, he's where he is now.
Let me ask you something, because I feel like we've gotten this is actually a beautiful segue into what I wanted to really to really ask you because, you know, there are these jump moments where, all right, word, like, so you met Lance and then y'all lived together and then, you know what I'm saying, y'all started taking little gigs and then it became something bigger and then he moved back after 254 episodes of Fucking House of Pain.
Yeah.
But let me ask you about the intricacies of that relationship, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because, you know, knowing you, it's easy to see that you have a very personable character. It's easy to see that you're very well equipped on, you know, a multitude of levels to be able to guide not only a career, but like really delegate or guide ships. Or your skill sets were built up, right? But you're also dealing with an artist, right? That is in a very, at that time, was in a very juvenile state of his career because, like, let's mind you, he took a gig that was supposed to be 10 episodes. It went to 254.
Yep.
You were a peer of his that, you know, y'all connected with not only because y'all were like really connected, but at the same time because he looked at you and saw somebody that was about building his business.
Absolutely.
Right.
And someone who was very successful.
No.
Like how is that relationship for you in working close from working from corporate companies and big conglomerates where you have a team with you, right? And you're getting tasks done.
Yep.
Now, you know, naturally when it came down to Lance and different like entertainment endeavors, you obviously had teams of people or people that you can call on, but you became, it went from conglomerate and corporate entity to a human being.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So naturally you were equipped and you were trained to be able to handle the multitude of differences and scenarios that were presented. But how was it for you looking at it on an intimate level with Lance, which was your start?
Yeah.
Right, in the entertainment world, which translated into everything that you're doing now. But at that time, let's take it back. At that time, how was it for you with dealing with the intricacies that were required of you for handling the business and paving the pathway of not only success, but also trust with a creator who, no matter how great looking he is or talented he is or whatever, they all have their insecurities.
Absolutely.
And you have to be there as not only a confidant and an advisor, but you got to be there as a brother to tell him that sometimes people don't want to know about the check.
Yeah.
Sometimes they want to know that it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Or you have this. Don't doubt yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So for you, what was that like for you, that transition of executing tasks for the sake of the greater good of a company to not only executing tasks for an entertainer, but also understanding the intricacies of dealing with the emotions involved?
No, absolutely. And I think that I think what works between me and Lance is the fact that we got to know each other personally first. Mm-hmm. You know, I knew what he was comfortable with, I knew what he wasn't comfortable with. Okay. And likewise, like, you know, and I think this goes back to the fact that, you know, I'm a firm believer that life is a chess game.
Word.
You know, you move your pawns eventually to make queen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, it doesn't take one move to checkmate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It takes multiple moves.
Yes.
And so, with my experience, you know, I knew how to talk to the brands to figure out, hey, this is how to talk to them, to figure out what the strategy should be to present to Lance, you know? And I think the biggest asset that I bring to the table is the fact that I come from a marketing background, not the fact that I have talent relationships, because I can have that all day.
Yeah.
Interesting, because relationships, people think relationships.
People think it's all about celebrity and talent relationships. Nah, listen, man. those celebrities and that talent is gonna have a relationship with you if you can bring them the money.
I feel you.
That's
I
really
respect
It is,
that.
like, it's like you could not know someone,
Yeah.
but
For real.
you cold call someone.
Listen,
and
you cold call somebody, you bring them a 6-figure check, they're
love it.
friends automatically.
Bro.
They're calling you on Thanksgiving.
It's not.
I was
It's
having
not.
this-
It's not really that
I
side.
was having this
It's really
similar
my
conversation.
it's really my consulting side that allowed me to figure out how to act in
that's such a good
it's
fucking
really
point.
how to act in a boardroom, how to act in a corporate America, to talk that language,
Yeah.
to translate over and communicate back to the talent. And so it's not really more so, hey, how do I pitch some to the talent? Because all you really need to pitch to the talent sometimes, I'm gonna say oftentimes, is what's that check look like?
What have you done for me?
Yeah.
lately?
What's that?
I just had this conversation with him, man, because like at the end of the day, money talks louder than anything.
Listen,
like, it's so
It
real.
doesn't
Like I
matter-
hate to say
listen,
it.
it doesn't matter what you ask the talent to do, right? And not to say the fact that, hey, you know, and by the way, you know, I have relationships with Just More Than Lance. Through my business in the industry, I've done good business, and I've been introduced to really good people that can make shit happen.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's not really how you present it to the talent. It's really how you present it to the brand,
Yep.
or how you present it to the person that's cutting the check. I don't care who that is, because on the flip side, if that check has enough commas, if it has enough
I
zeros,
feel you.
they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Mixed with everything else to back it up.
Mix everything else with to
Yeah.
back it up.
It's
right?
like it's the combination of like the check has the nice zeros and the commas, and also here's this brilliance and
brilliance
hard work and
package,
everything.
brilliance campaign.
It's the
like,
whole thing.
Exactly, but you know, it's really more so.
Because if it's just the commas, but it's really shitty work, that's not flying.
It's
either.
not fly, and I would never
that's
present.
why you got to relate back
that,
to your
but that's why
consulting.
I'm here in front of y'all today, is because
Exactly.
I stand true here, because I only bring dope opportunities. I go back to the fact that I told y'all earlier that, hey, I initially doing this shit for doing dope shit. That's how I got into this business.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have lasted in this business if it wasn't because of dope shit that I do, or dope shit that I bring to the table.
Well, it's creating the opportunities.
Creating dope opportunities for someone to capitalize on.
And working hard on your craft all those years in consulting and finding yourself to actually make those opportunities to come to
Exactly,
fruition.
but I would have never known how to talk to a brand. I would have never known how to be in front of a Fortune 500 CEO, or making presentations, a 18-slide deck in front of a CFO or a CEO or a CMO.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for my experience with consulting.
Oh my God, man.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I mean that's so
you
so
know,
important.
and
It's
that's,
so important.
and people think that, hey, yo, to cut these 6-figure checks, 7-figure checks, you just gotta tie yourself to a talent. No, it takes
No.
It takes more than that.
Yes.
You know, at the end of the day, I'm a representation of who I represent.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know, and so I don't take that lightly, because my name carries more than the check that's being written out.
What's your reputation? It's the work you do.
My worth is more than the brand that I'm talking to. My worth is more than the room that I'm in.
Yeah.
It's more so the fact that I do good work, which is the fact that I exist today.
Absolutely.
Yeah. See, and it's I love that. It's such a combination of so many things. Like it's
Listen, Anush,
Holla at
let me
me.
be real.
Holla at me.
Would you even have heard about me if it weren't for the fact that I did good work with the people that I worked with before I met you?
No. But look, I'll tell you honestly, right? Because our meeting was a little more benign than that.
Yeah, it was.
Right? Because it wasn't an opportunity scope.
It wasn't
right?
at all.
But I would have never crossed paths with you, unless your work had presented itself and brought you to where you are in life.
Exactly.
Where you were.
But
right?
my work came from Atlanta. You gotta understand that.
Yes.
My work was never in LA.
And I never knew that.
When I met you.
And I didn't know that like that. But it's like,
so
that was the beautiful part about that, is because this is something that like really hits home to me. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine about this probably 6 months ago, because like, look, like I hit a rock bottom in my life about a year or so ago, right? Got it. And you know what I mean? I reached a point where a friend of mine, after I made that pivot, realized, like, look, the biggest crux for me was always, is a gift and a curse, is that I was never the kid that everybody told me I couldn't do anything in my life. I was the kid that everybody told me that, don't worry, you'll be good because of the skill sets.
Which is weird. It almost like, do you think that mixed with your state of mind created that insecurity of feeding, maybe it's not insecurity, but the identity of, since everyone's telling you that you have to live up to that image that everyone's telling you that you are?
I don't feel like it was like, yeah, actually, yeah. Yeah, it was a crux for me, bro. It was a bottleneck.
A bottleneck, yeah.
For me, right? Because when you rely on your talents in and of themselves, it becomes a very detrimental aspect. Because when you know that you're capable, it allows you to rely on your natural strengths, right? It allows you to be victim to feeling like you'll always be okay, right? And going back to my boy, like, look, like I was always that kid that had finesse, that had a gift of gab, you know what I'm saying? And my gift of gab came from from always being the new kid in different schools, bro. I was the funny fat kid coming up, you know what I'm saying? So all of this developed in the, okay, he's loquacious, but he has a way with words. He's like, just like you, like, bro, like my family raised me with morals of, if you do well in school, we don't care what you do. Like, live your life. My barometer in life was, with my family, growing up as a kid, was do great in school. Bro, my senior year in high school, I had a 4.6 and a 4.8 GPA. My 4.6 GPA was because I never went to photo class, but I always turned in my pictures, and he gave me a B plus just because I was absent all the time. You feel me? I missed 293 periods in my senior year, all excused, mind you, right? My mom knew what the fuck was up. I'd signed the name of my dad on my shit, but my mom knew what was up. But because I got my work done, and my mom was okay with that, right? It's a gift and a curse. And going back to my boy, it's like, when I really reached my pivot point a year ago, I had a friend of mine that and it really rocked my world, because he was like, look, Noosh, and he's in the finance world. He handles big money. He handles, like, you know what I'm saying, like finances for very well-established beings on this earth, yeah? And he was like, yo, like, how can I be, like, look, you're going to be great at doing what you're, like, whatever you do, you're going to be great. How can I be a part of what you're doing? And I reached, I had a moment there, and I was like, bro, you're already there. Like, you're already a part of what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. How can you continue to be a part of what I'm doing? I'm not going to sit there and be an idiot and be like, yeah, bro, like, handle my finances. No. I literally had a moment where I told him straight up, I was like, look, as long as you continue striving to be great at what you do, that's how we're connected. Because if I'm on this pathway of trying to be great, or finding out what being great is, or being vulnerable enough to know that right now I know I'm not feeling like I'm great, but I'm striving for something, right? If you continue to be great at what you do, and if I or anybody else has the capability of being as great as they can be, when we reach there, it's not about being there for me right now. It's about being great at what you do and being a part of the growth that we all come to.
Yeah.
Which is, I feel like, where you've gotten to right now, where your focus was, yes, it was the check, but your focus essentially, the check came with being at how good you were at what you did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then delving into the entertainment realm, it became, how can I navigate these waters or this grassy knoll where the snakes are just fucking slithering everywhere and slathering, right? But how can I distinguish what's real and what's not?
Yep.
Right? So it's incredible to see that, you know what I'm saying, you've gone through this path, because this is another major note that I want to touch on right here, because, you know, I myself am a victim of this. I know a lot of peers of mine, who I won't name names, but a lot of people, especially when they get into the entertainment realm, feel like they need to be in this shit because of the opportunity and the acclaim and the cool that comes along with it. Yeah, no. You took a very different path in that you built your business acumen. You took a job that was so far from entertainment.
But you know what, Anush? Like, yo, I didn't take that starting out. I was just, like I said earlier, like, I just took the first step, man.
Word.
You know what I mean?
Word.
Like,
take a step.
Yeah, just take a step. Like, and you know, the step was take a positive step, you know, and I just took a positive step and just try to build myself up, you know, and from that point forward, I took another positive step after that and figured out that's not what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, my path is I'm pretty sure is more unconventional than most.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be in entertainment. That was never a goal of mine.
Which is actually opposite of most people.
Most people,
yes.
You know, that was never, but this opportunity just fell into my lap.
Yeah.
It literally fell into my lap. I just happened to know, you know, one of the homies that was best friends with Lance. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and I filled a gap just because of the experiences that I built. You know, if I was in the medical field, I would have never known any promoters. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would have never been able to
had time to know.
I would have never made any cold calls. I would have never thrown any parties. I may not have ever been in Atlanta, so I would have never met anybody else that I know today.
Yeah.
And so, you know, just take one step. You know, that's all I took. I never took, you know, because it's I think where most people get discouraged at is the fact that, hey, they think it's so hard to get in entertainment, but it's unconventional ways to get in entertainment.
Yes.
And you may not even know
no path is linear, bro.
There's no path is linear. No path is the same, you know? And so my journey is going to be different from the next man. But, at the same time, you know, their journey is never going to be the same than the person that actually took entertainment the entire way. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you don't have to just shoot for that. Just make progress. And as you make progress as a person, I think you'll get a long way.
Word.
I love that, man. Just take a step. Like, even
one,
if
it's that sounds mushy. It does.
It does sound mushy. It does sound cliche. But like, if you think about and applying it to your journey, like,
I took one step, bro.
If you tell people, it's like easy to say to someone like, oh, just take a step. But like, no, it's more if you're not fucking with your life as it is right there and you see an opportunity, take it.
Let me ask you, so we've gotten to where, you know what I'm saying? So where is Vincent Martinez now?
You know, where I'm at now, I'm 3 years almost 3 years into LA. You know, I took that leap of faith 3 years ago.
Happy almost anniversary.
Man, you see me smiling.
You feel
know what I mean? You see me smiling. I met some really great people along the way. I've made some great opportunities. And you know, like I said before, you know, I'm on the cusp of something big. I'd like to announce when I get back.
Yes.
Yes.
But I can't wait for you.
No, I can't wait to tell y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all off air. But you know, it's truly been a gratifying experience because as I found out, when you work for yourself, it's scary, man. It's scary. You know, it's scary not to have a steady paycheck every 2 weeks. But I think from my experience, it's been more gratifying to know that 100% I put in, 100% I get.
Yep.
Word.
You know, so
Feels good.
it feels good. It feels good to know that you know, when you bank on yourself, it's, you know, it's gambling, man. It really is. You know, I'm not here to say, yo, you should, you know, you're always gonna win, because you're gonna take some L's.
Yeah.
You're gonna take L's along the way.
For sure you will.
Yeah, you will.
sure
You will. If you don't,
100%.
Be ready and be comfortable with taking L's.
And if
Don't
you're
let
not,
that stop
by
you.
the way, if you're not taking L's, you're not doing something right.
Exactly.
Like, you know,
Exactly.
so, I go big, man. And so, fortunately enough, I'm still here 3 years later. You know, most people leave within the first year in LA. LA or New York are beasts.
Beasts,
You know what I mean?
bro.
So, I'm still here 3 years down, and you know, I've been fortunate enough to be blessed with opportunities only because I took that leap of faith. It just takes that one step.
Yeah.
Are you at the best point in your mind of your career that so far in your since you've entered?
I think I'm in a great position to win right now. I think that you know, I think, you know, if you wanna compare me to the, you know, I'm all about sports analogies. You know what I mean?
Holla at us, bro.
You know, I'm on the pace to beat 72-10 right now.
There you go. There you go.
So you know, it's only April.
That's
you know what I
right,
mean?
that's
So it's a good year for me so far. But that's not to say that it's gonna be a good year the rest of the year. But I'm gonna take
there were still those 10.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it because I've got a good 4 months so far, and so, you know, I'm a good position to win, but at the same time, never be comfortable. You know, I'm never comfortable. You know.
Let me ask you this. I want to ask you, in this moment right now, do you feel like you've reached success? And then it becomes, what does success really mean?
I was just about to say, like, it depends. It depends on what you mean by success. If you mean success in the fact that,
Well, what do you mean? Is
so what I mean by success is, hey, you know, I took the leap of faith 3 years ago. I'm still standing here. I consider that successful. I haven't dipped into my savings.
Yeah, you dig?
You know,
You dig.
that's successful.
It's still there, Pops.
And
he's still making it, Pops.
I'm still here, Pops. I'm still here, Dad. Mama, we made it. You know, you know, I consider myself successful in the sense that I have opportunities in front of me that I could truly capitalize on, that I will capitalize on, and I have a support system that's backing me, you know, and I consider that successful. So,
Are you happy?
you know what? It's crazy because
I love you for that.
it's crazy because you would think having a steady paycheck every 2 weeks would make me happier than what I am today. But I'm so happy right now, y'all. But that I can't,
Mama, Papa,
I can't even express it to words. I just text my girl, you know, before this show, and I let her know, like, hey, what I'm doing right now is fucking scary, bro. It's scary as shit.
Word.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Scary in a sense that I don't know when my next check is coming in. You know,
That's crazy.
I don't know.
That's
I really don't
you're
know.
eating
That's-
what you killed,
That's
bro.
fucking
You have to
terrifying.
I really don't know. But I also told her ... You know,
Hey,
gratifying in a sense that, yo, when shit lands, I may make more than in 1 month than what I made in 1 year in corporate America.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So And to me,
and doing what you want to be doing.
And I was just gonna say that. And to me, it's not really about the check. It's really about the fact that hey, I can sustain myself,
freedom,
and put
bro.
a roof over my head, and do what I love to do.
Yeah,
you know, and actually dictate who I want to work with.
Yes.
Yep.
And actually dictate what kind of projects I want to work on.
Look, that's a very critical distinction in that you're not being guided by external circumstances.
No, it's not.
You're being driven by your internal fortitude.
I in corporate America, man, I'm sure most people know you work with people you don't want to work with.
Yeah.
So
you work on shit you don't want to work with.
You work on shit you don't want to work on. So it's to have the opportunity to create for myself, to work shit that I want to work on, and to work with people I want to work with. To me, is a blessing, man.
It's amazing.
It's truly a blessing, and I never really understood it until I actually took that leap. So, you know, it's been a gratifying experience so far. It's been a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
You know, I take the bad. You know, one of the things that I will say, it's not always a happy path. You know, you got to take the bad with the good.
For sure. You
got to take the bad with it.
You're not always going to be happy.
You're not always going to be happy, but as long as you're happy with the progress you're making, that's all that matters. Absolutely. You know, that's really all that matters. It may not be the results that you want, but as long as you're making with the progress that you want, that's all that matters, man.
Can I make a point right here? I just asked myself that fucking question.
If you must.
But we asked you about your feelings of success.
Yeah.
And for all the listeners out here, this is coming from a man that monetarily has seen success from jump.
Yeah.
Right? But in not one breath was success attributed to a monetary aspect for you right now.
Never.
You feel what I'm saying?
Never.
And you got to that point, right? But
to me, that wasn't successful though.
You feel me?
Yeah, it wasn't. To me, making money wasn't successful. Like to me, making money was okay. You know, I was happy to write my dad a check. But in no way, shape, or form do I consider that success.
Word. Mm-hmm. Because like I feel like that's a big thing, because it's like you're one of the rare breed that has been able to really challenge himself, right? In any endeavor that you've gone through, and it's truly a testament to who you are, where you've been, where you've gotten to, and where you're going. In that success isn't measured by distinction.
Yeah.
Externally.
Yeah.
Success is merely
it's internal.
An internal battle.
It's definitely internal.
Which means that you have to have the vulnerability of being truthful and honest with yourself.
I mean that's
looking in the mirror, right? Because
I mean, I'm gonna preface everything with everything that I've said. That like, listen, man, like you gotta be happy with yourself.
Oh,
seriously, like, yo, like. If you're not happy with yourself, you can't even begin to be successful.
Yeah.
You know? I think one of the quotes I saw on Instagram today is the fact that, if you're not truly happy with yourself, then how can you truly live life?
Word.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like how
your life,
your personal life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if you're not truly happy with yourself, then if you're truly happy with yourself, then you wouldn't want to be anybody else.
Word.
You know
Respect.
what I mean? And so
bar, gem,
you don't
bang. Fuck, you want to consider
and
that.
so if
bang,
you want the first thing you should do before you even make a move in this world is realize the fact that you got to be happy with yourself, man.
True.
Like it's really no point in achieving or trying to go for external success if you're not happy with yourself, man.
Yeah. True story.
Yeah.
You know, so you gotta be happy with yourself. You gotta know what you bring to the table, and from there forth, like internally, like yo, you can be successful.
Bang.
Word. Vince, I want to ask you. I want to ask you a question in summation of this gorgeous discussion.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You know, I could tell that you're one of those folks that has constantly been looking at himself in the mirror,
Man.
right?
More often than not in
You
the
feel
last
me?
3 years,
and speaking to your own reflection, which is a key distinction, because I feel like a lot of people in our past look at their reflection as how they're viewed by society,
everybody else,
or their friend, or everybody else. Exactly. If you were to give any advice to the younger generation,
Yep.
that's aspiring, I'm not even gonna say to be in entertainment, because I'd be
Boxing it in, right?
boxing it in,
Yeah.
right. But if you were to give advice to the younger generation as to developing their greatness and making an impact wherever it may be, whether it be medical, whether it be business, whether it be teaching, whether it be whatever, what would your advice be to that kid that may or may not know, but is curious?
Man, that's a great question. I think the only thing that I would leave it at is don't be scared to try.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you know, even though I may not have wanted to be in the medical field, I tried it.
Yeah.
You know, and so even though I may not have wanted to be in consulting, I tried it.
Word.
You know, and so I want to offer that advice is just at least try it, because sometimes you don't know what you want until you try something.
Word.
Or you don't know what you don't want. You know, you think you want to be a doctor until you try it.
Exactly.
You know, so I think don't be scared to try, because at the very least you come out with that knowing something, whether you like it or you don't.
Yeah.
You know, so don't be scared to try something new. Don't be scared to shoot at the end of the day.
Word.
You
Yeah.
know, just shoot, man. Just shoot.
Let's say you missed 10 times.
Yeah,
You still
listen.
gonna shoot?
Yeah, yo, I'm gonna shoot the 11th time.
Let's
Yep.
go.
You know what I mean,
Let's
you
go,
think
man.
you
Let's
think
go.
you think Jordan said I'm not gonna shoot after he missed 10? Nah, he's
nice.
shooting.
How
that's
many
what makes
game-winning
him
shots
great.
did Jordan
That's what
miss?
makes him great, you know. And so, I think at the end of the day, just try, just make an attempt. If you fail, that's one step closer to success.
Yep.
And if you succeed, then damn, you just figured out what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, so just don't be scared to shoot, man. That's my only advice.
Keep shooting.
I feel
Keep
you.
fucking shooting.
Vince, where can people connect with you, man?
You know, you can catch up with me on Instagram or Twitter. It's catch up with V, spelled out just how it is.
Catch up with V.
Catch
Yeah,
up
just
with
catch
V.
up with me. You know,
Let's hope you can keep up, though. You know what I'm saying?
but no, I appreciate y'all for y'all time, man.
No, I appreciate you,
This
family.
has been amazing. You know, for you guys listening, you can catch this on MamaWeMadeIt.com.
Mama, we made
You
it.
can
Mama,
listen.
we made it. Hold on, but it's Papa, we made it. Right?
Hey,
we made it.
Papa, we made it.
You
We out
feel
here.
me?
We out here.
This has been a hell of an interview, man.
Unbelievable.
An amazing conversation, an amazing story, and thanks for coming down, man. It's
For real.
Such
This
a
is my
pleasure.
first time sharing my story.
That's
by
a
the way.
fucking
Oh, man.
incredible
We
scenario.
can't wait
bro.
to get you in a year from now and tell
Yeah.
how this last year has been. I can't wait to hear that story too.
You feel me?
I know it's about to be some crazy shit.
And for everybody out there, man, like whether you're established and this is just something for you to be inspired by, or whether you're the youth in this new generation that's coming along, I feel like, you know, the biggest takeaways that we could take from this is be curious, be able to conquer your fears and be able to face your fears. Absolutely. And just keep shooting. Because there's no answers The answers truly are the questions.
Yep.
So keep asking.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Vince, thank you so much
Thanks, bro.
for coming with us.
Yes, sir.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Hey.
Mama,
we made it!